Hi, Rabbi Skolnik here. I'm delighted to have the opportunity in advance of our family service this coming Shabbat of Parashat Vayishlach to share some thoughts of Torah with you that you might be able to consider before our service. And actually, it's such a good idea to do this, and I'm hoping to try and do this on a weekly basis, even when we don't have the family service, to provide some opportunities for Divrei Torah to share around a Friday night Shabbat meal, or whenever it's convenient for you. So a few words about Parashat Vayishlach that I think it would be good to consider before we meet on Shabbat. First of all, chapter 32 in the book of Genesis features the story of Yaakov Avinu, of Jacob, preparing to encounter his brother Esav, or Esau, after at least 20 years of being separated from him after the episode of the birthright deception. If you remember, Jacob ran away from Esau because his mother had sent him away, fearing that Esau would take his life. Parashat Vayishlach opens with Jacob preparing to encounter Esau for the first time since he fled to his uncle Laban's house. It's been at least 20 years. Jacob is scared. He doesn't know what to expect. And in chapter 32, there is the fascinating episode of Jacob's struggle with an angel, a mysterious angel, after he is left alone when he splits the camp into two and he crosses the Jabbok River, Ma'avar Yabok, and he struggles with this angel who maims him. And after that, his name is changed to Yisrael instead of Yaakov because he has struggled with both an angel and with himself, and he has emerged victorious. It's worth thinking about what the significance of this struggle is and why his name is changed. Who exactly is Jacob struggling with? Is he struggling with his own lesser self? Is he doing some kind of a version of introspection or tshuva for a wrong that he knows that he did to his brother? It's a possibility. Yisrael is a nobility name. It's a noble name. And yet Yaakov is the only character in the Bible whose name gets changed, and the old name is still used occasionally. What do you think the significance of that is? Second issue, chapter 33, Jacob and Esau meet again for the first time in 20 years. And if you read the portion, you read that chapter, you get a sense of the grand sweep of this encounter. Jacob had mustered an army, Esau comes with his army, and they meet on a field, and Jacob goes and bows down to Esau. He had sent him gifts and all kinds of efforts at appeasement, and Jacob, according to the text, Esau falls onto Jacob's neck, embraces him, and kisses him. And the rabbis differ as to whether or not the kiss was sincere and whether Esau was genuine in his desire to reconcile with Jacob. You might also ask whether Jacob is sincere in his desire to reconcile with Esau, or whether he's just trying to get away with his life after not having seen his brother in so long. To me, this section always makes me wonder about the possibilities of forgiveness and what happens in a family when siblings quarrel over serious issues or parents quarrel with children. It's a terrible tragedy when that happens, and sometimes it's hard to get the quarreling parties to really talk to each other, to consider the possibility of reconciling. What do you think is going on with Jacob and Esau? Last but most certainly not least, I'm not sure this is great table talk for a family, but it's certainly worth considering. There is the story in Parashat Vayishlach of the rape of Dinah and of the revenge that Shimon and Levi, two of Jacob's sons, take against the town of Shechem, who committed this rape, after having made a deal with them and with their town to be circumcised so that they could be accepted into the community of Israel. At the end of this bizarre episode, which is chapter 34, Jacob scolds Shimon and Levi, and he says to them, "You've jeopardized my standing in the community. We had a deal with these people, and now I'm worried about my physical security." And the brothers respond to Jacob. They have the last word in the chapter, and they say to him, "Are you going to allow our sister to be treated like a whore, like a harlot? She was raped. There's no vengeance for this. There's no equity in this." And the chapter really leaves us wondering who's right here and who's wrong. And I've always thought it was interesting that Shimon and Levi got the last word in the chapter, but you can't like what they did. And sure enough, when he's on his deathbed, Jacob scolds them and says, "Your violence is really a destructive force." All of these different points in Parashat Vayishlach are worthy of consideration. Some of them we'll be talking about on Shabbat. I hope you have some very fruitful discussions among yourselves thinking about them. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you on Shabbat.